it that we forget things right when we need it the most? Whether it's that one crucial fact during an exam, the name of the person you just met, or even just a habit that would genuinely benefit your life. And more importantly, how come when we try our absolute hardest, these beneficial habits can't just seem to stick? My name is Hiii and this is episode 2 of the New Year Prep series. Today I'm going to be answering the age-old question: what makes certain habits and information stick and not the others? I'm going to be combining the 4 laws of behavioral change from one of my favorite psychology books, Atomic Habits by James Clear, with the underlying science of learning, then splitting this into 3 main phases. You're thinking, that's such an odd combination. I mean, why is there so much complexity required for something as simple as a New Year's resolution? Well, the thing is that 92% of New Year's resolutions fail mid-February. And if what we were doing was easy, we wouldn't need to analyze the science. The truth is that we need complexity to beat this system. My first attempt at goal setting was in 2022. I had just started getting into the whole personal development space in YouTube. I wrote out my goals, closed my Notion workspace, closed my notebook. I never looked at them again. I had no habits, no system, and nothing that was bringing me closer to those goals. One of my goals going to 2023 was to rank among the top 3 in my class at my new school. So at that time, I had no really serious study routine. I was just going with the flow, and I knew that in order to achieve that goal, I needed to seek better ways. So that forced me to learn about the science of learning and how to use memory retention principles to study effectively. And of course, I achieved my goals. But I had also realized something. I subconsciously started applying those same principles into other areas of my life, like my business that I started when I was in SS3, my writing, my skills, my hobbies. And that's when I drew the conclusion: the same brain that can store educational information for a very long time is the same brain that can do the same for habits. First, we have to understand the biggest obstacle that our brain puts in our way. I'm not giving an our brain is kind of against us. Our brain is wired for comfort. So there are a lot of things that it does that seems good, but it's not really benefiting us, to be honest. So I introduced to you the forgetting curve. So fun fact, in the 1800s, a German psychologist named Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered that we forget 60% of information that we learn in less than 24 hours. Yeah. And after 24 hours, our memory just deteriorates from there. So that's why when you leave a class, you can remember what the teacher said, but for some reason the next day you just forget. It's the forgetting curve. And this doesn't just apply to studying, it also applies to habits and motivation. If you don't reinforce the habits, your brain deletes the protocol. If you want to actually lock in for 2026, we are going to have to stop focusing on habit formation. Anyone can form a habit, but how many people can actually sustain those habits? So we are going to now shift the focus to habit reinforcement. I have split this into 3 main phases. Number 1, the setup. Before you take any action, there are 2 things that happen in your brain. 1, a trigger, which is a cue according to Atomic Habits, and 2, a subconscious decision, which is a craving. So let's take the most common New Year's habit: waking up early. So you know that loud, annoying alarm sound that pushes you to wake up in the morning? That is actually a cue. So you can decide either to sleep in or wake up, and that decision is a craving. The setup phase includes the first 2 laws of behavioral change: make it obvious and make it attractive. But let's be real, nobody wants to wake up at 5 a.m. No one finds waking up at 5 a.m. attractive after the first week of January. The new year, new me hype, it fades away. So your brain gets so used to the alarm, and then over time you forget why you even started in the first place, and then you end up resenting the habits. So the solution to this problem is a little something called spaced repetition. So in cognitive science, which is just the science of learning, spaced repetition is a direct fight against the forgetting curve, because it involves the review of information right before you forget it over a spaced period of time in order to move the information from the short-term memory to the long-term memory. And we need to do that exact same thing for your motivation. So you need to treat your why for the habit as information that needs to be memorized. So you need to actively remind your brain why this habit matters, why this goal matters, before the forgetting curve kicks in. What we are going to do is we are going to create a subconscious spaced repetition schedule. That's an alliteration. Yeah, that's an alliteration. So day 1, we are going to create a visual cue. So this can be like a sticky note on your dressing mirror, a vision board, just anything that your eyes can see that will indicate to your brain that, yeah, this is a habit that I need to do, this is a goal that I want to achieve. Just make sure that there's a visual trigger of some sort in your environment. Day 3, we are going to create an audio cue. So this could be like setting an alarm on your phone, having someone call you to remind you to do something, notification from your Google Calendar. For day 7, we have the social cue. This involves telling someone else, like a friend or a family member, about a habit or a goal that you want to start. The more you remind yourself, the more that you build the craving, which is your attractiveness towards the habits. How I like to describe spaced repetition is catching a ball right before it hits the ground. So you need to catch your motivation right before it fades away. Okay, so now the setup is done. And how do we actually get the response? This is where most of us fail. We let overthinking and anxiety and procrastination get in the way of actually doing what we set out to do. And the solution to lack of action isn't to watch more motivational videos or just simply power through. It's actually very simple. You just have to make the habit easy. Yeah, that's just it. You have to make it easy for you to do. The main reason why we usually quit here is because our goals are either too hard or too confusing. So for tasks that feel too hard, like studying, cleaning, or working on your business, what you're going to do is use something called the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is a time management method that involves 25 minutes of work with 5 minutes of rest. You don't have to do that exact formula. Personally, I prefer like 45 minutes of work with 10 minutes of rest, or 30 minutes of work with 5 minutes of rest, 1 hour of work with 25 minutes of rest, however you want to be. And the reason why it works so much is because it tricks your brain into thinking that you are doing less work than you are actually doing. So like you aren't studying for 2 hours, you are studying for 30 minutes 4 times.
Like you aren't studying for 2 hours, you are studying for 30 minutes every 4 times. Like you aren't studying for 2 hours, you are studying for 30 minutes in 4 periods. Yeah, that's correct. That should be correct. 31, yeah, I'm correct.
Now during your 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes break, what you are not going to be doing is going on your phone. You are not going to go on your phone because you are going to end up procrastinating if you do that. So you can grab a snack, go on a walk, stretch a little bit, talk to a friend or a family member, but do not go on your phone. And another reason why this really works is because it leverages on something called the Zeigarnik effect. It's the idea that our brain remembers incomplete tasks more than finished ones. So by taking a break, your brain actually itches to go back and finish the loop, thereby killing procrastination. And for tasks that feel too confusing, then I really suggest using the Feynman technique. So in studying, the Feynman method is the breaking down of complex techniques and teaching it to someone who you see as a child or a layman in that particular field. Half the time, the reason why you don't do the habit is because you don't truly understand what you even want to do. You don't understand the steps that it takes to carry out that action or to achieve that particular goal or New Year's resolution that you set for yourself. So instead of just saying something vague like, I want to get fit, instead break down those steps. What are the actions or the habits that you need to get fit? Oh, I need to start eating healthy. I need to drink more water. I need to exercise every other day. And then also break down those habits. Like, what does eating healthy look like for you? What does drinking water regularly look like for you? What does exercising look like for you? You need to break it down to the simplest of steps. And this breakdown process is so crucial that I built a Feynman simplifier tool right into my Notion habits tracker, which forces you to break down any new habit into 3 simple tiny steps before you can even start tracking it. This reduces cognitive load because it no longer becomes this really big, huge New Year's goals that you don't even know how to achieve. Instead, it's just simple instructions that your brain can actually follow. And finally, the last phase and my favorite aspect, the reward. So you know that feeling when you do something good and then you are proud of yourself and then you find yourself subconsciously doing that same action or that same habit again and again and again without even realizing it because you just loved the satisfying feeling that it gave you the first time. The cue is about noticing the reward. The craving is about wanting the reward, and the response is about obtaining the reward. So we can say that the end goal of any habit is a reward. But the problem lies when we move on from the win, which is supposed to be the reward, so immediately. The brain doesn't register the win, thereby making the feedback loop weak, and then you eventually lose interest. The solution to this problem is the backbone of every single effective study method: active recall. So active recall at its core is just the retrieval of information to strengthen neural pathways. Neural pathways in the sense that it makes the transition from the short-term memory to the long-term memory so seamless. And this happens when you do things like assignments, tests, practice questions, flashcards, teaching. The main reason why it works is that it forces your brain to actively engage with information rather than just passively through rereading. So the question is, how does this relate to habit reinforcement? Here we are going to actively retrieve and recall the feeling of success. We need to force the dopamine hit that we get from our short-term memory to our long-term memory. So after you finish a habit, do not just walk away. Do not just pretend like, okay, I did it. You need to actively evaluate how you feel. Like, ask yourself, how do I feel after doing this habit that I've been saying I've been wanting to do for a really long time? Like, are you proud? Are you relieved? Are you energized? Are you at peace? You can either write it down in a journal or you can just say it out loud. By actively forcing the reward into your awareness, you make the habit to stick much faster. So in his book Atomic Habits, James Clear says that every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. For years we have been trying to force habits that go against how our brain works. But now, by combining the science of learning and atomic habits, you are no longer fighting your biology. You are hacking it. You are working with the grain instead of against the grain of your nature. Now, I know that all of this kind of sounds exhausting, like space repetition, active recall, atomic habit. How am I supposed to apply all of this into every single habit that I want to start in 2026? I understand you, which is why I've decided to make it 10 times easier for you. Because you don't want to spend all day thinking about your system instead of actually working on the habit itself, which is exactly why I designed the scientific habit tracker. I have made it available as a standalone Notion template right now, so you don't have to overhaul your entire life just to maintain consistency. It automates the cues and the review process that we discussed in this video, making sure that you actually learn your habits instead of just tracking them. It is available at a launch discount right now, 1,000 naira, but the price will be going up by the end of this year. So if you want the exact system that I use to lock in with my goals, then I really suggest grabbing it right now. The link is going to be the first one in the description. I also have my free December momentum checklist linked in the description below. So your assignment for this week, as always: number 1, pick one habit and set up your space repetition cues. Sticky notes, alarm, friends, family, whatever it's going to be. 2, break a confusing goal down using the Feynman technique. 3, practice active recall after you finish a task today. So comment down below which habits you are going to be starting this week, why you want to start it, and what's your day 1 visual cue or trigger is going to be. So if you found value in this video, which I really hope you did, I know you did. If you did not, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also make sure to check out my episode 1. Also make sure to check out episode 1 of the New Year's Prep series, where I talked about why waiting till January is a recipe for failure. Then you can find me on TikTok at Sincerely Shamey for daily personal growth content, and on Pinterest at Shamey's Digital Locker for resources. So let's make 2026 our best year yet. Bye. I look fine in this video, for real though.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?